In this video I'm going to talk about using EasyAs and DropBox, and I'm going to discuss what's going to happen if you incorrectly use DropBox with EasyAs, and doing so is most likely going to cause a data corruption. You have to remember that EasyAs was not created to be able to be used on more than one PC. It was created as a back office program for small business and for a single PC environment, which is typically how most small businesses are set up worldwide. Let's face it, it's small business that keep our countries rolling. It's not the big corporations. They think they do, but without small business, the big corporations are nothing. However, with the creation of DropBox, a world of possibilities has opened up. We now have the opportunity to be able to use EasyAs in the workplace with a little more flexibility. It means that you can now allow access to the software on more than one PC, which is great for the mobile business. However, you must remember, if you are going to be using EasyAs with DropBox, because not everyone's going to be using this, or not everyone has a reason or need to do this, you need to adopt a strict access formula while using it, because in the end, you're on your own. We aren't going to be there to look over your shoulder and say, hang on, you forgot to do this. Hang on, don't forget that. It's all on your shoulders to make sure that you use a strict process. We can only assume that you are always going to be using DropBox with EasyAs in a manner that always ensures preservation of your data files. Remember, at the end of the day, if you end up with data corruption or some other problem, it's not going to affect us. It's actually only going to affect you. But here we are going to offer you, and we are offering you as much information as humanly possible to give you a good understanding so you can use these tools with confidence. But in the end, it's up to you to ensure you understand what is happening. Remember, you are dealing with the internet and several different programs on your computers at one time. And you've also got to deal with your computer hardware and a lot of other variables. So lots of things can go wrong. Always make sure you have preservation of your data files. And that means creating several backups. Whenever you need a backup, create a backup. If you need to create backups daily, do that. So for this video, I'm going to discuss some ways of how to use DropBox, so as to provide you with as much ammunition as possible to enable you to use EasyAs with DropBox with ease, so as to enable you to end up on top and not in a position where you have lost all your accounting data due to an error or mistake on your behalf. Over the past 12 months, I have personally watched several people using EasyAs with DropBox with huge success. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of them. One of them is actually a mobile mechanic, and the other has a business that is a two-person office, and he actually has and uses EasyAs in the office on two computers. I'm going to discuss the key tips and pointers I've collected from them, as this will hopefully give you some processes to work with. First, I'm going to discuss the mobile mechanic. Remember, this could be for any situation. Just because he's a mobile mechanic, you can apply these principles in any situation where you have EasyAs installed on a main PC and you're picking up your laptop and you're going out in the field. You could be a photographer that goes away for 5 days a week on site. You can have your data on your laptop. During the week, you can enter whatever it is you need to require on site or on location, and when you come back home, you can have DropBox update your main PC. So this mobile mechanic has EasyAs installed on both his machines, which is logical. You need the software installed on both the machines to begin with. So what he actually does, before he goes to work in the morning, before he goes to his first mechanical repair job, he makes sure that his laptop is up to date. He switches on his main PC, he connects that to the internet. Then he switches on his laptop and connects that to the net. He's told me he then just leaves the computers alone. He usually goes and has a shower or gets ready to go to work. Then after he's done that, he simply turns off his computer and goes out the door. He knows that he has left the computers logged into the net long enough for DropBox to do its thing. In reality, he knows that it normally only takes about 5 minutes for everything to update anyway. But by leaving it until he finishes his shower and he has his cup of tea, he knows he's left it long enough. Because he doesn't want to check these things, he just wants to know it's been done. That's how much confidence Bob has in the process. He said that it's very rare that he checks to make sure his laptop has updated before he leaves to work. But if he wants to check, he knows that all he has to do is to quickly run EasyAs on his laptop and just checks to see if the latest information is updated. So what is actually happening? What is he actually doing? All that's happening is Dropbox is updating from the main PC to the internet. And then Dropbox location on the internet is updating down to the mobile, down to the laptop device. So Bob goes out to work. During the day he goes about his normal work activities. Driving from job to job, he then issues maybe a quote or an invoice on the spot using EasyAs. Naturally, to do this he has a small printer in his van that he connects via USB to his laptop. And this allows him to issue invoices and quotes on the spot directly from the EasyAs software. So at the end of the day, Bob returns home after a hard day's work, and he does the same thing he did in the morning. He simply turns on his main PC. He makes sure that both his laptop and main PC are on, and both are connected to the internet. He then goes away and relaxes a bit with the family with confidence that in a short while, the main PC will have updated itself with the same data files that are on the laptop, and those data files contain the new updated invoices and quotes. So what is actually happening? He comes home from work, he turns both computers on, the laptop talks to Dropbox on the internet, Dropbox says, hang on, the locations, the files I have here, because you have to remember Dropbox on the internet also contains the same data files. It says, oh, these data files are different to what you have here. These ones here, the date and timestamp is later than these ones. So we'd better update here. So it quickly updates here. At the same time it's talking to here and it says, hang on, these files here now are different to these ones. So then it downloads to this. And it's doing it for you. So what are some of the problems Bob has had to resolve over time? Bob has told me that he has to make sure that he doesn't forget to allow his PCs to update in the morning and when he comes home from work. He said that he doesn't have the internet connected to his laptop. So he has to make sure that he does this prior to leaving home and when he comes home. Because he knows if he forgets to do this, if he forgets to update, then he knows that if he uses the laptop during the day and creates an invoice, then he's going to end up with a data problem because he's going to end up with two different sets of data. Naturally, if he didn't use the computer, his main computer the night before, if he didn't update any of the files, well, there's no real need to update him in the morning, is there? Because the files are already the same. So he's only doing this update of a morning if he did some entries in the accounting software the night before. And he said that, the way he does his accounting, he might not even do that. Some weeks he's not even using the accounting program at home. He's only doing that if he uses the accounting program at home. So how can everything get corrupted? He knows that if he does not update his program or update the data files when he should, if he ends up with different information on this computer and different information on this computer, Dropbox will sit there trying to update both computers at the same time with the information from each other. And then it has confusion because it says, hang on, we can't have different files in both computers, and it causes a corruption in the data files. Is there another problem that Bob found out? Yeah, he said it's just a logistical thing. He has to converse with his wife because he says he has to make sure that while he's at work, no one, his wife, because he's just running his small business, he says he has to make sure his wife doesn't do anything with the bookkeeping program. She has to resist getting in there and doing some bookkeeping. Because the moment she does this, it's the same situation. He's going to end up with data problems if he's used EasyAs whilst he's been out in the field. So at times it can be a little frustrating because in the end the ability to be able to work on both computers at the same time can be a problem. But Bob said that being able to print and supply invoices and quotes on the spot and having them update into his system at night far outweighs any of the added inconvenience. So it makes EasyAs simple and easy for the mobile workplace. So as you can see, overall there is really a simple and easy way of becoming mobile with EasyAs. Once you do a setup with DropBox and EasyAs, it's only a matter of waiting a few minutes every day to allow the computers to sync with each other. Bob also pointed out that the added advantage of using DropBox was that on 2 separate occasions he found that having access to his accounts helped him because he was able to pull up his laptop, he pulled out his figures, and on the spot he was able to impress the bank manager, which helped him to secure a personal loan. There are many advantages of having mobility with EasyAs. But the key to this is to have a system in place and work to it. Bob's system of repeating same steps in the morning and in the afternoon has allowed him to remain mobile without any real problem. Of course, you might have to approach it from a different point of view. And, of course, you might actually have mobile access to a laptop. So it means that you're able to connect to the web during the day. So it means that you can use EasyAs on your main PC the night before and then go straight to work the next morning without even switching your laptop on. Because you know that if you turn your laptop on at work and you access the internet at work, you know that it's going to update your accounting data on site the moment you switch it on. Of course, you'd have to wait 5, maybe 6 minutes to allow that to happen before you access the EasyAs accounting data. Let's discuss Jim. Jim has the person I was talking about before that has the 2-person office. He has EasyAs installed in the one office on multiple PCs. In fact, he actually has EasyAs installed on 3 PCs. He has it installed in his main PC that he uses in his little office, and he's got his 2 office staff that actually have access to EasyAs on their machines as well. He has told me that his office staff, his 2 guys in the office, don't need access all the time. They might each only access and update some records a couple of times a day. He said that one handles the invoicing and quoting and the other person is required to update any expenses and bills as they are paid. That's really all they do with the program, as he mostly does everything himself. Jim has admitted to me that it would be easier if he could just network the software without having to use DropBox. But he knows that EasyAs was not created for a network environment. But he does also know, and he's told me, that after trying other accounting programs in the past, EasyAs has saved him so much time and money over the long run that he is happy dealing with a little inconvenience at times. He said that he would be happy just to have EasyAs installed on one computer, like it's always been. But he knows that since DropBox has come on the scene, he now has the ability to have EasyAs on multiple computers. What he's told me is he would never change and move away from EasyAs, because what EasyAs has given him is confidence. He knows at any one time how his business is going. He knows who's owing him money. He knows that he can do all his tax stuff, all the reports, anything with ease, whereas before he had no confidence with the other bookkeeping software he was using, even though they were able to be networked. He said he wasted hundreds of hours each and every year doing stuff he had no idea what he was doing. So in the end, what are some of the small problems Jim has found? Jim has mentioned to me that there is only really one main problem with running EasyAs in an office environment on multiple computers. And that is he has to make sure that no one else is accessing the software at the same time he wants to. Plus he also has to make sure that some time has passed from the last time someone accessed the software to allow DropBox to update from other computers, which is pretty logical. So Jim has actually told me he's made a rule in his office, which is maybe have nothing to do with you, but I thought I'd tell you about it anyway. He's made a rule that no one is allowed to access the accounting software until morning tea time, because he said that between 8 AM and 9:30 he uses that time to reference and check the things he wants to get done that day. And he does not want anyone else accessing the program during that time. Jim has mentioned that above all, his 2 staff members have to ensure that they are communicating with each other at all times. He said it's no big deal, as they don't have to have access to the program all the time. They only need to access the program maybe once or twice each a day. And some days they don't even access the program at all. He said all they need to do is speak up. Hey, are you accessing the accounting program? Now I've given you a bit of an overview of what these two guys are doing. What happens if you do make the mistake? What's going to happen if you actually find yourself in a situation where you, such as like the mobile mechanic, he didn't update in the morning. He forgot to do that. Or Jim ends up with a problem where his staff weren't communicating. Bob's actually told me, the mobile mechanic has told me, that he has never really messed up as he follows his system of updating before he goes to work, and he follows it to a T because he doesn't want the inconvenience later. Once he did forget, and he ended up having to delete the data files from his laptop and allowed them to update again from the DropBox. He said he lost a quote he had written that day but was able to reproduce it. He said once bitten, he was pretty careful never to do it again, and he's never done it again. He said it's a very simple process and he remains mobile at all times by just following his own little steps he's put in place. Jim said he's experienced a couple of screw-ups, which has meant he has had to overcome the problem of data corruption due to his office staff not working. He said he's had to kick their butt a few times and told them, you know, this can't go on because it causes confusion. The thing Jim said is, best of all, he also maintains a backup system. He maintains a backup process and he backs up his files each and every day. Because you have to remember, Dropbox has nothing to do with backing up. Dropbox is made with you to have mobility. Jim is smart enough to back up his files regularly. Now obviously, he's got a bigger office and he's using multiple computers. The average small business home office might not need to back up every day. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, however. And what is a backup? A backup is just saving your data files, creating a backup as they were at that time you backed up. So if you then do 2 or 3 hours work tomorrow morning, entering in a heap of expenses, and you don't do a backup and 2 or 3 days later your PC crashes, which PCs do occasionally, then you've got to go back and re-enter 2 or 3 hours worth of work all over again that you've already done once. So what I do is if I'm backing up, I back up regularly. I back up every day. In fact, okay, that's a lie. I don't back up every day, guys. But if I've used the computer, if I've used EasyAs and I've put in an hour's work into the program, I back up.